Hi guys, welcome to the latest episode of this UnBee-lievable Life. Today I have with me Zach Heronemus with Aurora. But before we jump in and tell you a little bit more specifically about him, I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of my story. So I can't even remember, maybe this was like 10, 12 years ago. Bob and I had a friend who he went to high school with, and by way of another friend, we found out he had been living on the streets. So Bob has a huge heart and wanted to assist him. So what we did was we connected him with Aurora, and he completely changed his life, completely turned it around. They were able to assist him finding an apartment. We got him set up with a job. And the impact that Aurora makes in our community is just completely immeasurable. And that is why I wanted to bring Zach on today to tell us a little bit more about this. Because I don't know if any of you have traveled to places like Nashville or out to California. They have a much larger homeless population. And for me, that is completely heartbreaking to see. And I am so proud of our community and the support services that we have for our homeless. And not only support services, but trying to bring them out of that cycle, because that's exactly what it is. It's a cycle. And, a lot of people are just a paycheck or two away from being homeless. So what Aurora does is so important in my eyes. So to tell you a little bit more about Zach, he is in his fourth year serving as executive director for Aurora, and they lead homeless services in Southwest Indiana. Prior to coming on for this role, he served on the board for more than 2 years. Zach has always been in public service in our community, previously serving as Development Director at Tri-State Food Bank, Development Officer for United Way of Southwest Indiana, and Chief Deputy Treasurer of the Vanderbilt County. He lives in Midtown, a neighborhood with his wife and 2 children, and serves as President of City Council representing the 3rd Ward. Zach, take it away.
Hey, Nikki, thank you. Gosh, I don't even know where to start because your story is really the reason why Aurora exists. We've been in operation since 1988. We were originally called ECHO. A lot of folks don't realize that we were the original ECHO, Evansville Coalition for the Homeless organization. Matter of fact, the 2 ECHOs that exist today in our community, ECHO Healthcare and ECHO Housing, were really spawned out of the initiative and the movement in response to homelessness, not just here in our community, but nationwide. What happened in the late 80s was, federal investment in mental health services declined tremendously. There was a policy shift with respect to how the federal government was going to address mental health services, and it impacted state budgets all across the nation. And our community here in Evansville was impacted greatly. And fortunately enough, we had a group of local community leaders that saw a need and created what is Aurora today. Most folks know us as the boots. And what I like to tell folks, what separates Aurora from what traditionally people think of in homeless services is we're not a shelter and we're not a soup kitchen. What we are is a team of social workers that, drive individualized case management plans for that individual, that family, that household that is experiencing homelessness. And how we do that is leveraging, federal dollars for housing programs that we receive year in, year out. And we have great partnerships with the federal government, the state of Indiana, and the city of Evansville that allows us to carry these programs out. And what we do essentially is, I say there's 3 things that we do really well. We create housing plans, we create income plans, and we create restorative life plans. And that last one I really want to kind of touch a little bit more on is, when our social workers, our case managers meet an individual or a family on the street or in shelter, the first thing that we have to do is bring them in and get them assessed and find out what are the programs that best align internally with Aurora or externally in other organizations. What that plan is that individual, that family, that household, and our case manager creates really drives the work that we do and the partnerships, the vast partnerships that we have in our community that provide services that we aren't necessarily the professionals for. So whether it's mental health services, whether it's substance abuse services, whether it's job skill up services or financial literacy classes or parenting classes or anything that our case manager and that individual, that family experiencing homelessness identifies as opportunities for reducing barriers and getting themselves back on their own 2 feet.
So, you've kind of gotten into the history of it, but um, if somebody has somebody in their life that needs help, or if somebody is seeing this or hearing this for the first time that needs help, what, how do they get a hold of you? What are the steps? What is the timeline that you set for people? What is the expectation from call to assisting somebody?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways that you can do that. You can call us directly, 812-428-3246. You can walk in anytime throughout the week, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4. I'm sorry, 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Thursday, and 8:30 to 4 on Fridays. We have just recently, kind of as a response to COVID, created what's called the Community Housing Advocacy Team. We call it CHAT for short. That's kind of our internal outreach team that really, extends our services, not just for people who are experiencing homelessness, but also those people that are in housing crisis and facing homelessness. Our mission is really to prevent and end homelessness. And so by allowing folks to walk in anytime, wherever they are, whether they're facing homelessness or experiencing homelessness, is a vital service that our organization provides. You can go to our website, auroraevansville.org. It has all of our programs listed on there, contact info. If you're facing eviction, you can fill out applications to see if we have assistance available at that particular time. I can tell you right now, it's tough for us to provide, rental eviction prevention right now, because as COVID has came and went, a lot of the federal funding for those particular services are really starting to dwindle.
If people want to get involved, whether that's volunteering or donating, how do they do that is my first question. Second question is, do you have a favorite success story?
Yeah. So if you want to get involved, volunteering for our organization is a little difficult. If we have church groups or if we have civic groups or something of that degree who want to get involved, we have to kind of tailorize programs and opportunities or projects, so to speak, to have them come in. Now, if anybody wants to help us in our donations room, we take in-kind donations, namely clothing for men and women, household items that are utility items like dishes, silverware, beds, mattresses, furniture, things to that degree, because we like to try and provide the best service possible with respect to, when we house that individual, that family, the expense from going from the homeless experience to housed is just tremendous. If you can remember when you first moved into your first apartment or your first home, right? We do, carry out, open houses and opportunities for people to come and learn. We do have opportunities with our events year round. So whether it's our Trivia Tonight event that's coming up late April, whether it's the River City Wiffle Ball Classic, where we need a lot of volunteers to help carry that out. We carry this event off in partnership with Echo Housing Corporation, one of our sister organizations that help us house namely our chronically homeless here in our community, and other opportunities here and there. But when it comes down to, what does Aurora truly need? I mean, financial support is obviously vital to us providing a top-notch service, not just to the clients that we serve, but to our community as a whole. Getting folks housed and making sure that they're on their own 2 feet just reduces services all across the board. If it's families that are being served and housed, the stability of having a home and the long-term impacts and effects on those children are tremendous. And fundamentally at Aurora, we value everybody, but we also believe that housing is a fundamental right for everybody. And we work diligently day in and day out. Success stories, man, gosh, last year alone, between who we have housed and who we exited out of our programs into permanent housing is, a little over 400 folks, right? So we have a little over 200 still enrolled in our programs, getting case management service of all levels, whether that's, light touch case management all the way up into intensive case management. We exited, over 200 folks into a permanent housing setting, right? So that means that they went through our programs, they received the services, we convened the wraparound services that they needed and stabilized them so they can be at that point of upward mobility and hopefully thriving. But when we look at our programs, we have prevention programs like our reentry program that focuses on formerly released felons from federal or state penitentiaries, which helps reduce and prevent the homeless experience for those folks, because they're 85% more likely to experience homelessness due to the tremendous amount of barriers that they have. We have permanent supportive housing programs where it's folks that oftentimes are deemed chronically homeless, meaning 12 months or more, or 12 months collectively over a series of homeless experiences over a couple of years. And then we also have our intermediate programs, which really focuses on our partners who provide shelters. So our rescue missions, our United Caring Services, House of Bread and Peace, Roost House, and Ozanam, our family shelter. So we touch a lot of lives year in and year out. But one of my most favorite and most recent stories is about Joey and Roselle. Roselle and Joey, about 5 years ago, had some significant substance abuse issues. And I feel comfortable sharing this story because they shared their story at our supporter breakfast back in February. And they went into, well, first off, their substance abuse issues led to some troubles with the law. They had children, 3 children, as a matter of fact. Joey ended up going to prison, and Roselle went into YWCA and to the substance abuse transitional housing program that they had. Our case managers met with her there and assessed her and aligned her for our Vision 1505 program. And Vision 1505 is 1505 North 3rd Avenue. It's a 32-unit permanent supportive housing program that we are in partnership with Evansville Housing Authority / Advantix and a property management company. This program's been going on for about 10 years, and the folks that qualify for PSH into this particular program and facility, have to have a profound mental health issue, profound substance abuse disorder, physical, mental disabilities, developmental disabilities, whatever it may be, so long as it's medical qualifying. And so she came with her children into Vision 1505, and our 2 case managers on site there at Vision, are just tremendous. We have 2 full-time case managers, a part-time community engagement coordinator that helps with parenting classes, tutoring classes for the children, aligning life skills classes of all sorts, financial planning, etc. And after a little over a year, Joey was released from prison. He rejoined his family there in Vision 1505. And for 4 years in total, from the time Roselle and her children got there and Joey joined them, they were there working to rebuild their lives. It took comprehensive convening of services to ensure that their needs were being met. And they were building the confidence and capability of really branching out on their own. It was so impactful that, just here recently, they closed on their home, their forever home, right? And, you know, it took a while. And I think, it's a testament to the work that Aurora does, and most importantly, our team at Aurora. Uh, Not everybody's journey is out of the homeless experience is simple. I like to say that the the varied reasons, the myriad of reasons for why people experience homelessness are vast, and that pathway out is just as varied. And that's where our case managers working side by side and helping with that hand up rather than that hand out really plays a vital part. But not only have they purchased their own home, Joey is a certified um, uh, mental health and abuse counselor, right? Rizelle has started her own cleaning business, which is just burgeoning. So she's doing not just, home cleaning, but she's doing commercial cleaning, and they have really gotten to the point where they're going to thrive, and that's the epitome of the work that we do, and that's why it's important that folks in the community support Aurora. They support the homeless services network, whether it's our shelters, and they support the ancillary service providers that day in and day out.
I think your mission is so tremendously important, and it impacts all of us. And so thank you. Thank you so much for the work that you guys do. Thank you to everybody for listening today. And again, if you guys have any questions, need anything further, please contact Aurora directly. And I wish you all a blessed and wonderful rest of the day.